How to Train Your Gavin. Read those books in a blink. Oh yeah. Grab yourself a hot drink cause you're watching How to Train Your Gavin.
Yep, that's me.
What am I doing? Now I see everything in a different light. Hey guys, welcome back to How to Train Your Gavin, and today what am I doing? So I've actually been really naughty and I haven't actually been sticking to my September TBR. However, what is great about this vlog is that I am going to be doing my Mamma Mia-thon in this weekend. So I have just finished work for the week and I am really excited. I got myself some snacks, got myself some Doritos Chili Heatwave, which I've already ate about a quarter of the bag. I have some Haribos, which I've already ate probably about half of the bag, and also I have a very classy Cosmopolitan, which honestly tastes awful. I've already opened this as well. I've already had about half the can. It's really not that nice. I also bought some cookie dough Ben & Jerry's to celebrate a week off. I also bought a bottle of Prosecco, which I might open tomorrow night. I don't know. That Cosmo's really shit. You know what? I want to get the Prosecco. Hang on. So yeah, I got myself my bottle of Prosecco. You know what? This is what I need. Honestly, I've been so excited to get another bottle of Prosecco. We know what happens when I buy a bottle of Prosecco and when I drink that Prosecco. I was going to wait until tomorrow night. Honestly, this is the cheapest Prosecco you could get. The cheapest. It's like $7.99.95 or something. Alright, let's open it up. Oh, yes! Oh, I haven't tasted it yet. I can taste it through smell, to be fair. It smells quite strong. Let's get this in the glass. Oh, let's just get the whole bottle in if I can. I need one of those really huge, there's still some left. I need one of those big, huge glasses that takes a lot, you know. Yeah. So much better than that dirty Cosmopolitan. Plan of action is Mamma Mia-thon. Shall I introduce the Mamma Mia-thon? Mamma Mia-thon is a readathon that's hosted by Julia at Shakespeare and Such and Julia at Julia, and I have a TBR video which I mentioned that in, so I'm going to be doing a mood read. I've already read like 4 books that aren't on my September TBR. I should not be doing this. As I said in my September TBR, Mamma Mia is such a mood movie. Like, I could put it on anytime and just have that really feel-good kind of experience. To be fair, I haven't really read anything for Mamma Mia-thon yet. I have downloaded a book that my good friend Paige, whose YouTube channel is Pages with Paige, she mentioned this book. She was doing some research in some fantastic male romance. But I don't just want any romance. I want hot. I want heavy. I want smut. Pretty much. I just want smut. So I have Between the Sheets, which you can see just by the cover there. Oh my god, I can't wait to read it. I fought one war on the battlefield, now I fight another in my mind. Between These Sheets by Devon McCormick. I'm so ready for this. So I did do a read in my first steamy romance vlog a couple of months ago now. It was my first ever one, as I just mentioned. But that was female male. It was a straight romance, and to be fair, some of those sex scenes did do it for me. Also warning, this is going to be such a dirty vlog. Like, seriously, there's going to be foul language, there's going to be probably some sex stories. I will reference cock as cock, you know, things like that. I will be doing all of that, so you have been warned. If you haven't seen a video like this of mine before, please tune out now because you will not look at me the same way again, please. I need to charge the camera. Why did I not charge the camera? Oh shit. What am I doing? Right. Is it just me or has it suddenly gotten brighter? But yes, we are sex positive on this channel. What I was thinking is I will read this one book over the weekend and vlog my experience reading it. I'm really excited to read a male smutty book. Like, honestly, I want hot and heavy, steamy sex scenes. I want to feel like I'm part of the sex. I need to. I'm losing my mind. It has been 10 months since I last got a dicking. You know when you just tell people that you're fine, but you're not really fine? Also, to make this like really interesting and fun, is I think I will share 3 stories of me and a couple, no 3, because a couple's 2, of 3 past love interests that have happened, and tell you about them throughout the vlog, kind of dotted in between. And honestly, I have stories. I'm not going to share the really bad ones. I'm not going to share the ones that I genuinely think you will be like, what the fuck, Gavin? However, I will share some good ones. And also I have some musical numbers planned as well, because obviously it's Mamma Mia. So as I said, I am reading Between These Sheets by Devin McCormick. And this one, I'm not too sure what it's about. Oh god, the synopsis is 3 pages long. Who needs a synopsis that long? Jay is always on the run, always looking for the next place to start a new life. But no matter how much he moves, he can't escape the painful memories that haunt him. As he settles into his latest job in the warehouse at a glass bottle factory, he finds himself the target of his co-workers' teasing. When he takes a stand against one of the bullies, a fight breaks out. His boss, a war vet named Reese, steps in and Jay accidentally shoves him to the ground. Is it just going to tell me the entire plot synopsis? I want a summary. I just want to know what I'm getting myself into. Revealing Reese's prosthetic leg. Okay, we get some context. Jay is sure he's going to lose his job, but he's blown away when he's given another shot. Reese is annoyed by the new guy. Jay is reckless and temper prone. Okay, so we've already switched up the POV here, and it's only the summary. Maybe Reese shouldn't have given him a second chance, but his attitude reminds him of his war buddy, a guy who he cared deeply for and who he lost under tragic circumstances. He just hopes Jay doesn't let him down. This is gonna make me cry. I don't want to cry. I don't want tears leaking out my face. I want tears leaking out my vagina. When an accident in the factory triggers one of Reese's PTSD episodes, Jay returns the favour by being there for him and keeping anyone else from discovering the incident. I'm already welling up. Oh. Where's the cock? Reese wants to move on and forget it ever happened, but Jay won't let it go. And as much as Reese tries to keep his distance, there's a heat, a passion between them, this is what I'm talking about, that he can't resist. It leads them to the bedroom again and again, but Reese quickly realises they've ignited more than the sparks they create between the sheets. And despite the tough guy facade Jay puts on, underneath there's a soul just as tortured and hurt as he is. He's starting to fall for Jay, but he knows there's a dark storm lurking in the back of his own mind. A storm that will return one day and destroy the beautiful connection they share. Oh, I like this little preface. Between These Sheets is a standalone romance novel with no cheating, no cliffhangers, and a happy ending. Ooh, oh god, I can't wait. Before I get into the smut of the book, let's get into the smut of my life. Flashback to 2016. We had a 24-year-old Gavin in second year of uni. And like just a little bit of pretext, I had braces for a good few years. I had an underbite. My teeth were like everywhere. I felt so bad about myself. Like it was just so hard being me. Pre-double jaw surgery Gavin at the end of 2015. Low self-esteem. And then we get into second year of uni. This is where I've like come into my own. The braces are off. You know, second year of uni, I'm living with housemates. I have free reign to get any Tom, Dick and Harry off the street into my bed. Oh boy, did I do that. Okay, so I was very sexually active in my second year of uni. Got to the point where I slept with 5 different guys in 1 week. And honestly, guys, seriously, real talk. Please do be safe. Like, be a consenting adult with another consenting adult. Wear protection. Do what you need to do to be safe. Oh, I need more Prosecco for this. Why am I sharing this story now? Pretty much like slept with 5 guys in 1 week. And one of them gave me oral gonorrhea. I don't know who it was. But anyway, talking for too far back, that was just a bit of context. Going like into the following year, 2017, Gav, but I was considered a mature student because I was like a couple of years older than everyone else. I had taken a couple of years out of like college and uni. Like there's a whole story there. We're not going to get into it. Just know that I was considered a mature student. Because I was considered a mature student, I felt like an absolute cougar. It's not that big of a difference. Anyway, there was a guy, his name was Alistair, and if one of my friends is watching this right now, she will know exactly who I mean. And Alistair, I mean, he was so cute. I think he just turned 20, but we were chatting on Grindr. I'm just going to say now, every person I met was through Grindr. Just gonna say it. We were chatting, and then he ended up coming to my place, and we hooked up all night long. And ... Yeah, it was a long and heavy night of lovemaking. The next morning, like, he goes away. The next morning, I go to the school library because I think I was in the middle of writing a dissertation. Jesus Christ. And I went to the library to meet up with my friends who I, usually go with to the library with. So I told them everything. I had a guy around to my house. We had sex all night, and his name was Alistair. And then my friend just looked at me and she went, Alistair. She went on her phone, and it turned out that she had been talking to this Alistair on Tinder. So he was actually chatting and flirting with one of my best friends on Tinder, and then he had stopped messaging her, came round to mine for a long night of lovemaking, and it was the most bizarre thing. What were the odds? What were the odds that he would be flirting with my friend and then coming round mine for a shag? To be fair, there was like some kind of satisfaction with me doing that a little bit, because I was like, okay, you were flirting with him, but like, I got him in bed. Like, it wasn't a competition or anything, because I had no idea that was happening, but it made me feel good. Which is terrible, really, because, I mean, yeah. So that's my first story. I don't know why I'm sharing these stories, but like, it's like cocktails and cock talk with Gavin. But I wasn't actually that much older than him. Literally 3 or 4 years separating us. Yeah, so I was the mature student. I was pretty much the cougar. I really hope I didn't get that reputation of being the one who was older and like sleeping around with everyone. Like, oh my god, that is terrible. Why am I sharing that? But I mean, there were some guys who I definitely resisted. There were some guys I definitely resisted.
Oh, ignore him, Tanya. He's all mouth and no trousers.
Tanya can't ignore the chemistry between us.
Little boys who play with fire get their fingers burnt. You're so hot, teasing me. So you're blue, but I can't take a chance on a kid like you. It's something I couldn't do. There's that look in your eyes I can read in your face that your feelings are driving you wild. Oh, but boy, you're only a child. Well, I could dance with you, honey, if you think it's funny. Does your mother know that you're out? And I could chat with you, baby, flirt a little maybe. Does your mother know that you're out? Take it easy, better slow down, boy. That's no way to go. Does your mother know? Come on, boys. I can see what you want, but you seem pretty young to be searching for that kind of fun. So maybe I'm not the one. Well, I could dance with you, honey, if you think it's funny. Does your mother know that you're out? And I could chat with you, baby, flirt a little maybe. Does your mother know that you're out? Does your mother know that you're out? Does your mother know that you're out? Does your mother know? Does your mother know that you're out?
Look at this, I'm already topping up and I haven't even started my book. So that is my first story out of the way. We have more coming up, but I'm going to go and start between these sheets. But if it's going to make me cry, I swear down, I swear down. God, 10 months? 10 months I haven't had sex. That's the longest I've ever gone without it. Wow. I made it 2 chapters before I fell asleep. This is what age does to you. I cannot handle... Not that I couldn't handle it. I woke up really rough this morning, not gonna lie. But I had about half of the Prosecco. And I was lying in bed reading. I read like 2 chapters and then I fell asleep. Remember just a couple of months ago when I could have the entire bottle of Prosecco and still try and have a hookup with someone? How times have changed. Yeah, this is essentially going to be a vlog of just me reading this smutty book, to be honest. So I fell asleep, but it wasn't like due to the book or anything. I was really still interested in the book, but you know that synopsis I told you where I was like telling you everything? That pretty much happened in the first 2 pages. We meet Jay, and he has just started work at this factory, but it starts in the middle of a fight that he's having with somebody called Tyler, who is working there, and he's a bit of a bully. So Jay kind of defends himself and attacks Tyler, and then Reese, who is the love interest, the boss, he comes in and he tries to stop it. Jay ends up pushing him over, and it exposes Reese's prosthetic leg. That is what it says in the synopsis, that happened in the first 2 pages. So I was like, okay. And then, yeah, and then literally I just fell asleep because I just can't handle my drink anymore, apparently. I've woke up this morning feeling a little bit rough. But I digress, I got on with it. I read a good more chunk of it. I'm like 30% into it now. And it's picked up. There's been some hot and heavy scenes. And the first hot and heavy scene happened like 15% into the book. And oh, I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed that. So I'll not be like reading like all the smut from it like I did in the last one. But essentially what happened was Jay and Reese are... I mean, Jay is like such a bad boy. He doesn't like to be told what to do, and Reese is rather headstrong as well, but he's been through stuff and he's very open to giving Jay a chance. So they decide to go for some drinks at a bar, and when they're at this bar, Jay and Reese go to the bathroom, and then they start like making out, and then they go into a stall and they start doing things. But then Reese is like, wait, no, this is like too inappropriate. I am your boss, this cannot happen. So Reese legs it out of the bar, and then I was feeling a little blue balled, so I was like, oh great. But then, so Jay follows him, and he ends up talking him into having sex with him. So they go back to Reese's place, and then they have like amazing sex, which is great. It was very hot, it was very heavy, and I really appreciated that. And this was 16% into the book, and it did last a few pages as well, but it was really sexy, and it was doing more things to me than the Never Date a Doctor by Melanie A. Smith did, like just in the sex scene department, because obviously it's like guy, and obviously I'm like a gay, so I was living, I was loving it. So yeah, that was good. So after that, this is when things start getting a little bit spooky, because it felt a little bit like a parallel to my own life. So I will get into my second story of, well, personal smutty story. I am going to go in the bath after this, don't worry, I'm like feeling gross. But I just wanted to check in. Yeah. So when Jay goes to work the next day, Reese ignores him. He pretends like he isn't even there. And that right there is fuckboy territory. That is fuckboy behaviour. Even though, yes, it's dangerous to sort of be a boss and an employee, like that kind of relationship. Even though they're both consenting adults, it's very frowned upon. Even though they can just fill in the paperwork and blah, blah, blah. It's still something that Reese and Jay don't really want it to come out yet. Especially Reese. Yeah, Reese is completely ignoring Jay. So essentially, Reese is a fuckboy. I mean, not really, because things happen, don't worry, but like this just made me think about my own fuckboy story. Here we go, round 2 of my story. So like, you're probably sick of me mentioning this, but I do want to just draw your attention back to M&S Guy for just a second. I bet you are wondering how we met. Grindr. Like me and M&S Guy, we did hit it off right away. Like we had banter over text. Like this was like back in July 2019. Like, oh god, this is the way I work. I think of details like that, it sticks into my brain. Like unnecessary details, like when I met someone, when I slept with someone, that kind of sticks in my brain, and a lot of other things don't. So yeah, me and M&S Guy ended up having sex, and then he went home, and I remember texting him like, that wasn't just a shag, that was an M&S shag, which, if you haven't seen the M&S advert where it's like,
These are not just any hot cross buns. These are M&S golden hot cross buns.
well, that was what that shag did for me. He didn't last that long, but he hit the spot, if you know what I mean. And his dick was just beautiful. I will get over him. It's been 3 months. I will get over him. So yeah, definite fuckboy behaviour, because we would message and then we would like try and arrange something, and then he would just flake last minute. This is the kind of behaviour we expect from M&S Guy. But yeah, that was like a constant thing, and it just felt like a lot of the times he would ignore me, and then he would probably feel horny, so he would message and be like, hey, do you want to meet up and stuff, and then I'd be like, yeah, but then he'd flake. This is the kind of person he was. And then finally, actually 4 months later, we did end up hooking up, which was the last time I had sex, which is 10 months ago. But 4 months later, we did hook up again. And then he started ignoring me again. So that's when I was like, you know what, screw yourself. I deleted Grindr, and I didn't message him whatsoever. But I felt probably the same way Jay feels when Reese was ignoring him at work. So I totally get that. He is definitely a fuckboy, and I feel like a lot of people can relate to that kind of thing. And there are definite signs where you can look out for a fuckboy. For like one, it seems like all they want to do is have sex, which, you know, for me, sometimes that's great. But then it's when they want sex, but then they leave you high and dry kind of thing. That's when it happens again. And you know what? I had a very long conversation with my good friend, Amanda Seyfried. We discussed the problem of fuckboys and a lot of men in general. We had a very full-on discussion about it.
One night I was taking a walk along the river when I saw him together with a young girl, and the look that he gave made us shiver, 'cause he always used to look at me that way. And she thought maybe she should walk right up to her and say, it's a game he likes to play. Look into his angel eyes, one look and you're hypnotized. He'll take your heart and you must pay the price. Look into his angel eyes, you'll think you're in paradise. And one day you'll find out he wears a disguise. Don't look too deep into those angel eyes. Oh no, 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 no. It's terribly important to remember just what terrible people all men are. Keep thinking about his angel eyes. Keep thinking,
What I've learned through doing this vlog as well is that there is a ABBA song for every occasion. Anyway, fortunately for the case of Reese, I think that we're moving a bit past the fuckboy stage, and he has definitely started opening up, especially since just a few pages later, Reese and Jay start fucking in the supply closet at work. And that was another really hot and heavy scene. Oh my god, I was enjoying myself. Well, Jay and Reese have started to spend more time at Reese's house lately. There is a lot of repetition already with stories that they're telling each other. You know, a lot of exposition, a lot of backstory that's being told in like such a formulaic way, where there's like a few paragraphs of just dialogue of this one character telling the other character what's happened to them. And I'm finding that a little bit, but really I'm just reading this for the sex scene. So far it's hitting the spot, and hopefully I can overlook all the other problems with this book at the minute. I don't know how PTSD is represented in this, because I've never had PTSD before, so I don't know if it's well represented, whether it's not. I know it'll be different for so many different people, but at the minute it's there, and it's causing some conflicts every now and then for Reese and Jace, but I'm looking forward to seeing where that will end up taking me. But most importantly, I'm looking forward to more sex scenes, so cannot wait to get to more of that. Yeah, I'm going to go in the bath and stuff and get ready for the day. I want to finish this today. It is the last day of Mamamia-thon, so I really want to read this. So I will, you know, do all of the stuff I need to do and get clean. Not gonna lie, I feel a bit dirty after reading some of this. So I'm going to go get clean and enjoy the rest of my day. Guys, I actually preferred the straight romance. What the fuck is wrong with me? I'm only allowed to keep this on for 20 minutes, but I'm cracking this open. I want to have this entire thing as I rant about this book. Oh. I have cookie dough, Ben and Jerry's. So I finished the goddamn book. Fair enough, a lot of the sex scenes were pretty hot to begin with. And then we got the exact same kind of sex scene. Fair enough, they changed it up a little bit. One of them would top, one of them would bottom. So they were both versatile. But even then, the tops are so considerate. I mean, that's just so unrealistic. I've read fantasies that were far more believable than this shite. I don't know if I'm just being really bitter, because there is actually a very, very happy ending, and I wasn't there for it. I didn't want it. Didn't want to take it back. Oh, God. Right, so anyway, where did I leave you off? We had Jay and Reese, and they're getting really, really close. But, like, the quickness of how close they get, I mean, I think there's only supposed to be, like, a couple of weeks between all of this stuff. And sorry if you see dust flying around. I haven't had a chance to dust yet. Like, I'm never going to get around to it. This is what they were like. So, Jay, Reese as well, actually, both of them would be like, oh, we have amazing chemistry. They will keep saying that, like, we have amazing chemistry together. Don't tell me that. Show me that. Crap. Every single time it was like, our chemistry is just so amazing together. Whatever. I'm not saying this. This entire book was tell, don't show. I wanted you to show me the sex. Show me the sex. But even then, show me the character development. The characters actually are so unrecognisable by the end of it. We had Jay, who was like this troublemaker going from place to place. Fair enough, oh crap, I need to stop doing that. Fair enough, he has growth by the fact that he's not moving and skipping town again like he always does. Fair enough. However, he goes from being this little troublemaker to being so bloody cute. Like, oh, it was so unbelievable. His character just did a total 180. And then we have Reese. So I've never had PTSD, so I don't know if it's good rep in this. Just in gut instinct, I would say not. Because Reese would have a PTSD episode, and then he would be talking to Jay about something really serious, about losing his best friend because his best friend had died. And then literally 3 sentences later, they're fucking. And it's like really dirty fucking. Fair enough, you know, if that is what helps. And both of them say constantly, oh, I need this, I need this. After they've, you know, done it, which I never thought I would say this, but after like the 5th or 6th time they did it, I was so bored with it. Say like they have sex for like 4 Kindle pages, right? And then double that with the exposition that follows it, because then one of them asks a question and then they start talking about shit for like 15 pages. And sometimes it's really hard and heavy stuff, like, what's his name? Jay. Jay comes from a very broken family. His dad had killed his brother when he was a kid. He says that to Reese, but he says this in this 15-page long monologue, which comes right after having sex. And that's exactly what happens all the time. They have some exposition, they fuck, more exposition, they fuck, more exposition. This was just one long Q&A session between 2 guys. With an ad break every now and then so they can fuck. Not even that though, the exposition was repeated so much. So like Reese would go through his head what he's feeling and what he's thinking, and then he would say the exact same thing to Jay. Word for word, pretty much. He would have his inner monologue, and then he would tell Jay exactly what he was thinking. The exact same thing happened with Jay. Jay would think something for pages upon pages, and then he'll say it in dialogue that isn't even broken up. This is lazy storytelling at its finest. And you know, I'm not really qualified to say what's good storytelling or not. But however, oh, this is so bloody good though. There was definitely, oh shite. However, there's definitely a better way of writing this shit. Devon McCormick, I'm so sorry if you're watching this. I know what I look like right now, like seriously, me, judging you. I mean, I'm not judging you, Devon, I'm sure you're a really nice lad. The book is shit. Anyway, you know what else as well? They kept calling their cum spooge. Who the fuck calls cum spooge? And if you do actually call it spooge, tell me why, because it's not even an attractive word. Spooge. I'm cleaning the spooge off my abs. It's supposed to be a hot visual. Spooge. It just sounds like Scrooge. That's what I feel right now. I feel like such a fucking smut Scrooge. I don't mean to be. Like, on the surface, these characters do seem complex. Like, they have backstory. And believe me, I know they have backstory. I know it inside and out at this point. But because it's told in such a repetitive and simple way, really. I mean, the way that this story is told is just so easy. Seriously, I could have written this when I was 12 and I discovered how to masturbate. I would have preferred the characters to have been flat and one-dimensional, because this book tried. It tried so hard to be something it's not. It tried it with the whole Reese being off to war in Iraq like a decade ago. It tried that. Oh, actually, hang on. There was also a really... I kind of like this. He was married to a woman before he went away to war, and then when he came back, he pushed her away. And I kind of liked the exploration of that a little bit. But again, repetitive. Simple. It was told in the most boring way imaginable. So it kind of really undercut any kind of seriousness of it. I feel awful. Oh, honestly, this threesome I'm having with Ben and Jerry right now. Best orgasm I've had since that guy I hooked up with in his car in Texas. This is what I deserve. This is why I'm single. But also, they're constantly being like, oh, what does he really think of me? Does he not want me here? So, is that really what I look like? Oh my god. Even repetitive conflict. Everything is just the same. It happens all the time. Jay doesn't know what Reese really thinks about him, but Reese is just going through something. And Jay keeps taking it the wrong way, but then he's like, oh, but wait, hang on, I understand. But then he takes it the wrong way, and then he understands again. It's like, oh, fucking get a life. But then they finally do come to terms with each other. And there's also this really weird thing about Reese liking Jay wearing panties. That was really bizarre. I don't know why the hell that happened. So I can't even talk about it because I genuinely don't know why the hell that happened. But anyway, they do get together. And then there's an epilogue. Of course, that's a fucking epilogue. Who needs a 10 years later in a smut book? Unless it's them having sex, which to be fair, they do. They do have sex in it. However, this is where I become bitter because they're together, they're so happy, they have a really good relationship with some people at work, and they're talking about having kids, and honestly, nothing I could critically say about the epilogue other than the fact that they're still together after 10 years pisses me right off. It pisses me right off. So it's just the fact that, yeah, the characters are unrecognisable by the end of it. There's no point A, B, C, D, E. It goes point A to point E. No explanations needed. A waste of my time, that actually. But to be fair, I did have a good Mamma Mia-thon because of it. A very moist Mamma Mia-thon. Which, I guess brings us to the last story. I need to put this down for this. So, I mean, as I was saying, I'm such a bitter person because I've never had a boyfriend before. I've always been single. Anyway, I promise I am sober right now. I don't know why I'm saying all of these stories anyway. But anyway, I did try dating every now and then. And honestly, it would never go well. So one of the most awkward dates I ever went on actually made the paper. So it was actually for a blind date thing. Oh my god. You know what? I'm going to cross out his last name so that, you know, just to protect his identity, even though it's in a newspaper. Oh, I kind of don't want to ruin it. I'll just do it anyway. Look, I'm in the paper. So this was published on the 20th of February 2017. So there was like a blind date kind of section for this, the Courier, which was my uni newspaper, which is why I'm wearing my uni jumper. So this was, I mean, for some reason we look like we're about to the fucking can. Just the first thing that really pisses me off is the fact that they've spelt my name wrong. It's Gavin Hetherington, actually. So this was like a really awkward, like, blind date setup. Saying that though, we definitely Facebooked each other beforehand. This feels really tight. I really probably should have taken this off by now. Right, I mean, I'm just going to point out some of the highlights of this fucking interview that we had. So it was like a separate interview. We went on the date and then we had the interview. So let me tell you about this date. So yeah, it was set up by the Courier and then we met up at a sort of bar and we had some drinks. It was fine. I actually got two of my friends to come along in disguises and sit a little further away from the table we were at, and they were just like in the background. It was hilarious. So he was American actually, which I really liked. So we ended up getting interviewed a couple of days later from the person who runs the blind date section. So I'm just going to give you some highlights of, you know, Tim on Gavin. So they asked, did you fancy him at all? And he went, laughs, he's alright I guess. I don't know if I could say that so soon. Come on, you can tell. So did you have a lot in common? He said, yeah, like I said, we both like to travel. Other than that, I guess not much. I mean, it says a bit further up that I talked about Disney and cheesy songs. If he doesn't like Disney, then on your bike. What would you rate Gavin out of 10? I'll give him an 8. Where did the fucking 2 go? So they said, that's very strong. And he said, I mean, he's good looking, I guess. Did you fancy him at all? He's alright, I guess. He's alright, I guess. That's what he said. He's alright, I guess. And then later on, he rates me an 8 out of 10. I mean, he's good looking, I guess. Make your fucking mind up. Mind you, this was 3 years ago. I don't know why I'm getting so worked up. They said, that's quite nice. Are you going to see him again? He said, maybe. I'm not sure. Obviously, we have each other's numbers, so we'll see. So he actually sent me a text a few days later, like, oh, you know what? I'm still hung up on my ex. I don't really want to date right now or anything. So I was like, fair enough, whatever. Funny story, I went on a date with his ex a few weeks after that. What did I say? I didn't actually read what I said. I'm talking about the place and I was like, oh my god, the music was too loud. Obviously showing my age. Poor innocent me, I said, well, we're going to be meeting next week for coffee. Yeah, meeting his ex. What the fuck? They asked what kind of crisps would he be. Like, I don't know why they say that. Crisps is chips in America, if you're American. He's not from Texas, otherwise I would have said a barbecue flavour or something. I do enjoy a bit of beef. Honestly, the innuendos. So I said I fancied him, he was attractive. Yeah, did you kiss? No, but maybe some other time. Oh, sweet summer child. I did offer to walk him home. What a gentleman I am. Well, we both gave each other an 8, but to be honest, I should have gotten a 10. So yeah, that was my dating experience. And I did go on a date with his ex a couple of weeks later. But I hope you've learned so much more about me in this vlog. But hopefully not enough that makes you think I'm unsubscribing. But probably will. Honestly, I had such a good time with Mamma Mia-thon. I really hope you enjoyed the vlog. I'm just hoping that one day I will meet the man of my dreams. I'm not actively looking at the minute, but I just don't want to get old and grey and not having ever found somebody. But I know he's just out there somewhere. He could be in a different country. Could be down the street. Who knows? But I'm sure once I'm old and grey, I will have known who my soulmate is. Wouldn't that be the dream?
Gavin! Fernando?
Mi amor, Mexico, 1959.
Can you hear the drums, Fernando? I remember long ago another starry night like this. In the firelight, Fernando, you were humming to yourself and softly strumming your guitar. I could hear the distant drums and sounds of bugle calls were coming from afar. They were closer now, Fernando. Every hour, every minute seemed to last eternally. I was so afraid, Fernando. We were young and full of life and none of us prepared to die. And I'm not ashamed to say the roar of guns and cannons almost made me cry. There was something in the air that night. The stars were bright, Fernando. They were shining there for you and me, for liberty, Fernando. Though we never thought that we could lose, there's no regret. If I had to do the same again, I would, my friend Fernando. If I had to do the same again, I would, my friend Fernando. Now we're old and grey, Fernando. Since many years I haven't seen a rifle in your hand. Can you hear the drums, Fernando? Do you still recall the fateful night we crossed the Rio Grande? I can see it in your eyes how proud you were to fight for freedom in this land. There was something in the air that night. The stars are bright, Fernando. They were shining there for you and me, for liberty, Fernando. Though we never thought that we could lose, there's no regret. If I had to do the same again, I would, my friend Fernando. Yes, if I had to do the same again, I would, my friend Fernando.